Good.
I love that background. Wow.
Yeah, follow the yellow brick road, eh?
Yep.
But there might be a tornado. Yeah, there are other scarier options. This is the standard model of particle physics. And I guarantee you won't learn any of the stuff that's on this
Okay.
in
All I
my
remember
course.
from high school is quarks. So that's the only word I recognize on there.
Yeah, then there's Back to the Future. So there are certain
Nice.
elements of the course that are a little bit like that. This is
Yeah.
another scene from The Wizard of Oz. And we do talk about the Tin Man every now and then. The little kidney things that enter in every now and then. And we talk about my shared office with the young people that I train and the other famous people who are in there. So anyway, and you've got
Oh wow, you can do. I didn't know you could do video
Northern
backgrounds.
Lights. Yeah, you can do videos. And then there's artwork, kidney artwork. There's Stonehenge, the futuristic city, Edmonton.
That's a nice one.
And yeah, this is good when you've got something to celebrate.
Yeah.
And for Simpson fans, so
Nice.
this is the Simpson living room. This is the fifth element. You see it says over here, no future.
Yeah.
That isn't true. There is a future. And
Yep.
So maybe that's one of the big reasons for the course. So anyway, I'm really here to answer your questions. The course is unlike any other course in the academic world. There
Yeah.
are 3 other courses like it taught by professional keynote speakers. So they're probably a bit more exciting, maybe, because I'm not a professional keynote speaker, but I'm the only one teaching this content in a regular academic setting. So I have to be like academically credible and consistent, logically consistent, so on. So the course is a graduate course, which means it's graded like a graduate course, but it's mainly taken by undergraduates like yourself. So anyway, there is no curving, we don't have to have a particular spectrum of grades. The grades tend to be high. It's kind of amusing. Sometimes the students who get A, one or more of them gets upset because they didn't get an A+, Yeah.
An A is just as good.
That's an interesting discussion.
Yeah.
And what happens if you just coast? Well, if you just coast, first of all, you won't like yourself when you look in the mirror in the morning because the other students are working so hard and so earnest and so on.
Yeah.
Really, you stop respecting yourself if you just coast.
I feel like I've reached that point in all of my classes, though.
So you would probably pass. You'd get like a C or a C+. And it's not just that it's impossible to fail, but that a lot of the parts of the course are so interesting that even if you're determined to do nothing, the interestingness of what the students are saying and what the presenters are talking about tends to stimulate a little bit of effort, even if you initially plan to do nothing. So,
yeah.
anyway, so that's kind of the deal. And we've been teaching it for 9 years now.
Oh, wow. I actually didn't hear about this at all until another student who had taken it told me about it.
Yeah. It's sort of a hidden gem, right? It isn't that hidden. If you go into Reddit and search on cool courses at the U of A, this sort of comes up on top stuff. But if you're not into Reddit, you might not have heard about it. But it what are the practical reasons for taking the course? It probably has survival value in the long-term future. It doesn't really have any short-term value. It's not, like a necessary part of anything you would be preparing for. But when the future happens, as a consequence of taking this course, you'll be one of the few people prepared, right? Because we talk about so many scenarios, and one will be the real future. We don't know which one, but you will have spent quite a lot of time thinking about that when no one else has. So, and we say it makes you street smart for the future and so on. And suddenly, right, the future is important to almost everybody. There have been changes in our society and the way the world seems to work that are just completely unanticipated.
Yeah.
And so it really is of interest. What are likely scenarios for the future, and how would they work? What will jobs be like in the future? Will the future be like when no one has jobs anymore? And how to prepare yourself for that? What will physicians do? I've talked and written a lot about that. And the medicine writ large philosophy of the course goes back to Rudolf Virchow in 1848, when he was 27, and almost all the stuff that he's known for, it was written when he was 27. So he talked about the physician as the natural attorney for the poor, that poverty is the background of much of society's illness and individual illness. And so really physicians can think of a very much larger mandate than just treating individual patients and individual illnesses or preventing them. So it may seem to you that the course is not very medical, and it's easily understood by a person without any medical background at all. But as defined in medicine writ large, it all is sort of related to that general theme of how to keep society healthy and how to make changes in the way humans interact with each other that would promote health and well-being. And of course, well-being is not being burned out, right? You hear a lot about burnout, and also FOMO, right? The fear of missing out.
Yeah.
So I think in the course you'll both have solutions to burnout and FOMO. So what could be better than that, eh?
Yeah.
So anyway,
that's so cool.
Yeah.
I was looking through the course outline you had attached, and also looking through the website, and I'm very excited to be able to learn whatever I can from this course, and to be future-proofed in a way, maybe.
you can be proud of that excitement, because it puts you in a minority of students who are really interested in these things and the long-range future. Most normal people are sort of like politicians. They're interested in the next 3 or 4 years, or until the next election, or until you graduate, and hardly any interest in the future beyond that. But now it really is important to think about the long-range future, because everything is in question, right? All the big assumptions you had about what life would be like, possibly life won't be like that. It'll be quite different,
Yeah.
You probably thought of yourself as a jet setter, right? Flying here and there, as your status rose, right? You took more and more flights, and finally you were gone more than half the time. And now that seems less likely as a lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
Not a successful lifestyle anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, so The course has to morph and change every time to be
Mm-hmm.
valid. If you think about a course about the future, if it just gave the same lectures, that's not a course about the future, right? It's an example of how not to do a course about
Yeah.
the future if it's
Yeah.
always the same. So it isn't always the same. There's only one exam. It's only worth 20% of the grade, and that's the midterm exam. It also changes a great deal because that just sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
And it always has unusual aspects. I'll tell you the unusual aspect this term, and you'll say, that's impossible, but it really is the way it is. Okay, so if you go into my YouTube channel, you will notice the most popular videos there are by Jack Tazinski on the subject of quantum biology.
Mm-hmm.
So Jack has had a big change in his life. He used to have a joint appointment in the Faculty of Medicine, and he was in the Faculty of Science. Now he's only in the Faculty of Science.
Mm-hmm.
So he has said that he can no longer teach in the course. But we have a student younger than you who was sort of like a superstar when he took the course, Simon Wu. He's also the guy responsible for all my green screen videos. So if you thought that I was really cool because of watching one of those videos, that's Simon Wu's work. So the person teaching quantum biology this term will be Simon Wu, who it really seemed to add something to the whole subject. His presentation in the course caused us to add an extra lecture to the quantum biology part, and Jack was just amazed at what Simon was able to do and so on. But then comes the question about the midterm. And so how's that going to work? Because there's been these little short answers in quantum biology that are part of the midterm. And Simon has never been the primary person grading them. Well, Jack has agreed to grade the midterm with Simon teaching. So anyway, are his questions. He posed them a long time ago. They are the main subjects that we want the students to learn in that area. So Simon doesn't have to worry about how he's going to find time to grade the midterm and do it the same as Jack used to do, because Jack is still quite I think it's more the politics of the thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be seen to be teaching in the Faculty of Medicine because he no longer has a Faculty of Medicine appointment, but he's perfectly happy to help us with the course. So yeah, so that's the deal. Now, sometimes some of the students find the midterm tough. And so the grades, the raw scores may range from like 26 to 95, right? And so we've been trying to figure out what to do about that, okay? So we have come up with a way of handling this where we give the top student a 99, and then we do a scaled kind of addition. So like the top student who got a 95 will get a 99, adding 4 points. So the bottom student, we may add like 50 or 55 points to the bottom student, and the middle students get a intermediate amount of, so that everybody ends up with a passing grade from probably B- to A+ on the midterm. We've been doing that for a long time, and it seems to work just fine. I've never been charged with any crime, but I can't find any literature precedent for this kind of scaling of grades. But anyway, it's a thing we do. So if you end up with the lowest score, the 26 or whatever, that there is a solution to that. It's not going to turn out that bad. And some of the students, you'll notice the class size is small. So you would say, well, gee, it must be really awful to be the student who got the lowest grade in the course. But some of those are the students who have worked with me the longest. Some of them are students who worked for me for years and years and years because they were still fascinated by the work of the course and by me and the stuff that I do and so on. So for some students, this is just another course. And for other students, it is life-changing, and they become so enamored of this subject area that they basically keep on doing it forever. And eventually, when they get a real job, it'll kind of be in this area of work, and they help with the course, with like the website and the videography and all that kind of thing. And the parties, when we have parties. Some terms, we don't have any parties at all, no entertainment, nothing, nada, because the students all have full lives. They've got kids and spouses and home life and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they don't want to do anything outside of regular class time.
Yeah.
Other groups of students are different, that they really like the idea that sometimes we've incorporated the educational parts of the course and like the final presentations into entertainment events where they're professional entertainers, food and drink and so on. And let me tell you about Nikolai Smith. So you may be aware, dimly aware, maybe it's just a subconscious awareness, that some people who go to law school never become lawyers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some people who go to law school never intended to practice law and so on. But anyway, Nikolai Smith is a street performer who went to law school. And so he is as smart as we are. I don't quite know why his life took the turn that it did and so on. But like there's nothing we would be teaching that he is not capable of, understanding.
Yeah.
And he performs with balloon animals, balance beam, and a bullwhip. And there are lots of videos of him, like I'm holding a pizza and he's cutting the end of the pizza off with the bullwhip and all that kind of thing. And I thought this entertainment is too primitive for University of Alberta students, should never do it again. And when I told that story about how we would never do it again, the students looked back at the video and said, no, we want him back. We want Nikolai Smith back. So anyway, he's been back 3 times now. And he's just one option. And we have lots of musicians. Joel Crichton actually took the course in 2012. Mm-hmm. And so we had a professional musician taking the course who also wrote a song about the course. And you'll see the music video from that song where I have a rap role. You can hear me rapping in the song, yeah. And Mallory Chipman and I do something called The Future and All That Jazz. She's...
Yeah, I saw that on the website earlier.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, so if the students wish, we have a University of Alberta student group, and the student group, you probably already know this, but the one requirement for a student group is you have to have money in the bank. You have to have a bank account and money in the bank. So we do, and that money just sits there in the terms when the students don't want to do any education. The money is just sitting there, waiting for the term where the students want to do parties and fun stuff and stuff on the weekends and stuff in the evenings and so on. And when that occurs, we're ready. And we've done it before. Nikolai Smith is ready. Anything you might want in the way of entertainment mixed with the education is possible, and does kind of make it memorable. So you can choose to give your final presentation early, That can be done even if we're not doing any entertainment. Some students like to get that out of the way, and also it allows you could then use the feedback on your oral presentation to make your final paper better, right? You don't just get feedback from me, but the other students and so on. Yeah, so anyway, that's of no interest to some students, and for other students it is. But that option's there, and there's also the shy student option. Now, you may say, but is life fair? Can unshy students take the shy student option? Yes, they can. So even if there's not a single shy bone in your body, if you're completely unshy, you can still take the shy student option. What does that mean? It means that for your final presentation, you don't give it live. You work with a videographer and do this kind of documentary thing, then you come to class and you present the video of you doing this, and then answer questions afterwards. And some students have really preferred that, and there have been some really awesome presentations. If you think of the least appealing possible area of technology in the future, that would be the technology and future of war, right? I mean, that's like totally icky. So one student decided to do the shy student option and took a video camera to a playground with all these cute little kids playing on the stuff at the playground on a windy day. You can't see the wind, but you can sure hear it. And he's not wind protecting the microphone, so every now and then a wind blast comes, whoo, and little kids playing in the background. He's talking about these horrendous weapons of the future and all this.
Oh my God.
It's the most memorable thing, because you can think that those little kids are in harm's way if any of these weapons happen, and the wind seems to be a third force,
Yeah.
So that's like one of the most memorable final presentations that we've ever had. So there are many options. There's also the option like the dynamic character of the students taking the course, like how much they're coming to class armed with these little speeches, that they're just ready to give a little speech today, and they've been preparing it and so on. Or other times the students really don't seem to have they've not given any thought to the subject matter at all. And if the talk is really good, they're just looking totally like that. Wow, that was really good, but they don't have any questions, right? So it's a little bit unpredictable. But if you find yourself much less outgoing than the other students, like you can text your questions to me, and I will then present the questions orally to the group.
Yeah.
So that option's also there.
Yeah.
And I don't know, honestly, if we've ever had a shy student taking the course, but we're certainly prepared. And a lot of the non-shy students like the shy student provisions as a sort of option or way to do things differently. And I like surprises. So if something occurs to you as a way of doing the final paper or presentation that clearly has never been done before, I will probably like that. On the YouTube channel, you will see an interview of me from 2012. One of the students said, I want to interview you as my final presentation. So we did a video of the interview, and then he gave a presentation based on that. So on, So virtually anything you can think of. And then there's the idea of the mentor. You don't really have to use a mentor, but you can if you're a bit unsure what the subject of your final presentation and paper should be, then you can approach anybody who's ever taught in the course. And since we have students teaching, this could be somebody even younger than you who's taught in the course, and ask them for thoughts about how to kind of confine your subject so it's actually manageable in a 10-page paper or a 20-minute presentation and so on, and how to theme it and, you know, how to pitch it. The subject can be anything, literally anything, as long as it fits with the idea of the exponential future, Moore's law, machine replacement of human labor, that sort of thing. It could not be similar to a presentation or paper you prepared in any other course, because there's no other course that is doing anything like this, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about speculative things that don't exist yet, and we're trying to think about what the world will be like when they do exist. Almost all your other courses probably talk about things that already exist, right? So that's kind of dramatically different. So, do you have other questions? I've been sort of free associating, and I may have been talking about all the areas in which you had no questions and not addressed at all the real questions that you had. So.
No, I just was looking forward to this call to learn more about the course itself, because I mean, I can read the course outline itself, but it's very exciting to hear it from you talking about it as well. Kind of on the topic of the final presentation and choosing the topic to present on and things like that. How have, I guess, like, do people usually go towards academic research papers to look at what people have speculated about, or is it kind of just?
It can be anything. I can send you exemplar papers and give you links to exemplar presentations. Some are already in the syllabus there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't limit you. It doesn't have to all be in one format or all, you know, the kind of science fiction comic book aspect of it can be completely missing, right? Where there's nothing fictional you're talking about, and you're just telling us how the exponential future is going to work, but, you know, just kind of the facts. Or you can really animate it with a lot of things from popular culture and so on. There have been presentations about virtual reality and mixed reality that gave the audience these headsets to wear so we could actually experience virtual reality, and they're just, you know, you can
anything.
And I totally respect. I wanted to talk about one thing that sometimes happens, like talking about the course just being another course. Some high-performing students who have given really awesome, amazing presentations, a year or two later ask for those presentations to be taken down because they are completely inferior to what they are now capable of doing. And they don't want these inferior presentations, which really to us seem something spectacular and wonderful. But, you know, as they're in these high-performing students' minds, it's bad to leave evidence of like the primitive, you know, beginnings, right?
Yeah.
You just want people to be aware of what you're capable of doing now, not those primitive beginnings of the juvenilia and the stuff. No, you got to keep that stuff hidden. So but most of the presentations like that I've taken down were very, very mesmerizing, engaging, wonderful presentations. There have also been presentations that were sort of life-changing in themselves. You can watch Vanessa Rogers' presentation from 2013.
Mhm.
She's now a practicing physician, so she went to medical school and, did her residency training. And, 9 years is long enough that she's now out there practicing and seeing patients. But she had never given high consequence presentation like that before.
Mhm.
And the presentation is fantastic. The only thing is, her facial expression, she looks like she's scared to death, and she
Oh,
was,
no. Yeah.
That's the only thing wrong with it. Nothing else wrong with it. And she
Yeah.
became a person who was much more confident about things in life after that presentation was over. And so it was kind of nice to see that, transition right in front of our eyes of a person sort of, evolving to a new phase. So,
For sure.
yeah.
I was
So,
wondering too, like because I'm in the faculty of business, but like this is an area with technology and AI and thinking about the future that I am completely in love with and I love learning more about it. Like where have you seen people's careers go from here and, having taken this class too, like where do people kind of go with it?
yeah. Well, I think it's probably natural that careers in medicine have been the ones I'm most aware of, and
Yeah.
so quite a few people have gone to medical school, done well in medical school, and so on. Um, but I think from the letters of recommendation that I'm writing, like some of the students in business have gone to law school and have been quite successful there, and are now doing things post law school, and I'm writing letters for them about that and
Yeah.
so on. Yeah, I think my experience with that is more biased by approaches that I get to write letters. And so students who have awesome careers in an area where a letter from Kim Solez would not help, I'd be less aware of that, right? So
Yeah,
yeah. So
that's
I
fair.
so I can't tell you what's happened to everybody.
Yeah.
I can tell you I just a few months ago, I forget when exactly. It was sort of just as COVID was beginning, but that hadn't stopped face-to-face
Mhm.
presentations. But I went to a talk for students that Jonathan Schaefer, the former dean of science, was giving, and I was the only non-student there. And the way the students celebrated me when I came in the room, I was thinking, wow, I had no idea they even knew who I was, and so on. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's clear that, some things have happened. Like, I used to have to devote a lot of effort to promoting the course. And that included putting up posters in every legal location,
Mhm.
across campus. And I was really the best person to do that a lot of times. I didn't have some minion that I could assign to do this and so on. It's a little bit boring because you're putting up a poster. You remember putting up a poster in that location before, but the high profile poster locations, they take everything down so quickly and
Yeah.
often that you have to so anyway, one time putting up a poster, one of the students comes by and says, this is like seeing Wayne Gretzky put up a Wayne Gretzky poster. So amazing. No, it isn't really like that. Anyway, yeah.
Oh,
So
goodness.
right at the moment, I don't really have to do that. The course seems self-sustaining now,
Yeah.
that we're getting enough students. And I think it's kind of a knee-jerk reaction, but people do recognize that thinking about the future makes more sense in pandemic situation than it used to in the past, where it seemed like a totally lame subject to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Now it isn't quite so lame, because other subjects, like sports and musical performance and so on, a lot of those things are having difficulty happening. So whoever imagined that we'd have a time when sports teams weren't playing sports, or bands weren't playing concerts and so on. Yeah, it's really completely unanticipated.
Yeah.
The way things have turned out.
Yeah.
So now I guess I need to ask you, having actually met me, do you still want to take the course, or are you?
Yes.
Oh,
I want to take the course even more.
Okay. So you need to give me your student number. You could maybe,
Okay.
reply to my email with that. And then generally speaking, you'll be added to the course roster in the next few days.
Yeah.
And you'll be the 6th student. I have a feeling lots of times a lot of students pile on and join the course right before the term begins. So we're a few weeks before that. So there probably will be many more than 6 taking the course finally. And we'll have people probably taking part in it who are not registered students. We've always had that with it. This was actually a recommendation of the students from the focus groups that we had when we were planning the course, that the course should be in principle open to the general public, and so people can show up and take part. And there are some terms where the best questions and the most interesting audience members are people who are not registered students, but anyway, that can be fun too. So yeah. Anyway, so that's the deal. So any other questions?
Not right now. I'll probably email you if anything else comes to mind, but I guess so right now I do have a class in actually, I don't think it conflicts with it. I should be able to register for the course just okay.
Yeah. No, I think that the formal time of the course is 2 to 3:20 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So you have to make sure there isn't anything else in that slot. And then with your student number, we can add you to the course roster. And so
does that automatically enroll me into the course basically? So because on Bear Tracks usually we have to go through a whole process.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
You so for undergraduates, they have to be interviewed. That's what this is. And then once they indicate that they still want to take the course, then we can add them to the course roster. We don't do that against their will. So, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so that's how that works. So it turns out that September the 1st is the first day of the course, right? It's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so anyway, so I will see you on September the 1st. And feel free to contact me. I just wanted to mention one other thing. this issue of New Trail from winter 2015
Yeah.
is online and is all about the course. So it's kind of nice that the PR operation of the Central University embraced the course like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so virtually everything in that issue is about or quoting people who teach in the course and, you know, subject matter in the course and so on.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just one other sort of source of you know, another opinion, right?
Yeah.
So there's the Edmonton Journal article that is linked in our website.
Yeah.
But I think it is it is interesting to think about how the public relations office and the you know, alumni office that run the editorial, you know, decision making of New Trail decided to focus an entire issue on this idea of the future of everything. So,
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, it is important, I think.
Yeah.
To think about. So.
And they thought so too. Okay, well, I've enjoyed speaking with you very much.
Me as well.
And I'll see you on September the 1st.
Yeah, see you. Have a good rest of your summer.
Okay, you too.
All right,
Bye-bye
bye-bye.
now.